In this Fextralife video, we're going to be talking a little bit about Solasta 2. If you didn't know, the game just announced that it's going to go into early access on March 12th of next year, so that's just a few months away now, which is absolutely fantastic. There has been a demo out for some time that's about 2 hours or so long that you can check out if you want to see how the game plays for yourself and you don't want to wait for early access. There is that currently that you can play. And Solasta 2 is a game that I've been following kind of quietly behind the scenes for many, many months now, and one of the reasons you haven't seen it on this channel much compared to maybe some other channels is because when the demo came out, I was just in the middle of a bunch of other things, and I've been traveling, seeing other games, and had some things going on in my personal life, like I was sick for a month, so I really didn't have a lot of time to get into it. But another reason is that I've been waiting for this announcement specifically to happen for a while, because not only did they announce the early access release date of March 12th, they also announced some of the voice actors of the game, which is something that we were made aware of back in August at Gamescom during a behind closed doors Kepler presentation. And the announcement of these voice actors is what, when we found out about it, is what really, really got me hyped about the game. It was the combination of the Unreal 5 engine and that, but those two things together is something that I've just been dying to talk about for a really, really long time. And since I couldn't talk about those things until now, I didn't really want to make a video until I could. And Solasta Crown of the Magister, the previous game that was made by Tactical Adventures, is a game that we're big fans of here at Fextralife. We even did the official wiki for the game. So if you were playing that game, you've probably stumbled onto our website. And you could just tell from the moment that you started playing Solasta, even back in the early days of the game, that it was just one of those games that was clearly a passion project by Tactical Adventures. You can tell they really, really love D&D very much. It's quite obvious from just how similar or how much the game reminds me of tabletop. You could make the argument that Solasta Crown of the Magister felt more like traditional tabletop D&D than any other video game in recent memory, and that includes Baldur's Gate 3, as amazing as Baldur's Gate 3 was. I think Tactical Adventures kind of captured the tabletop feeling, whereas Baldur's Gate 3 kind of tried to mainstream it a bit to make it seem more like an RPG and less like D&D. And from the combat to the skill checks and the party-based system that was a harking back to classic RPGs like Icewind Dale and Wasteland, I really love the party mechanic in the game that allowed you to make all of your characters and pick their classes and kind of bring your whole team through the game. And the dialogue between them is something that really stands out to me as a highlight of Solasta. And it's just got that something that a lot of RPGs are lacking these days. You know, when you take a look at an RPG and you go, hey, that's a cool looking RPG, but it's missing something. Solasta has whatever that is in spades. And this is a game that has 88% all-time on Steam. This is a very, very tremendously high rating for a game, and I think a lot of it is because of the things that I mentioned. But the only real thing I felt like that was holding Solasta back from taking this game to the next level was the production value of the game. It was running on the Unity engine. It felt very indie and kind of lacked the polish that games like Baldur's Gate 3 had, which obviously isn't shocking given the size of the studio and budget. It's not something that's surprising. I'm just pointing out the obvious. But I think with the addition of Unreal 5 and the voice acting cast for Solasta 2, they've really rectified that. They've really identified and addressed the main issue holding Solasta back, because it's not the gameplay, it's not the writing, it's not the story or the world building. They have all that, but the production value that really would take it to the next level was missing, and they've definitely added it now in Solasta 2. So first, let's talk about Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 obviously has higher visual fidelity than Unity in just about every way. And I think you're going to see more and more games that have been developed on Unity moving away from it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the Pathfinder developers, Owlcat, if they make another Pathfinder game, move away from Unity, or if we ever see another Pillars of Eternity game, if it moves away from Unity. It's kind of, it's an easy engine to use, but it doesn't give you the visual fidelity that Unreal Engine 5 has. And, you know, that can play a role in the immersion in your title. So when you look at the gameplay of Solasta 2, it looks better, it looks flashier, and I know a lot of people aren't fans of Unreal Engine 5 because of the performance issues that it's had historically. However, I don't think it's going to be a problem in this game because it's not a very action-heavy game. There isn't a lot of animation in the game. You know, there's animations for like combat attacks and spells and things like that, but you're not seeing like the level of things happening on the screen that you would see like in an action RPG or in an action game or some other game like that. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. Getting that higher visual fidelity, making things look prettier, look sharper, I think is going to only enhance the game. So moving along to the voice cast, the first addition is Ben Starr to the game. A big surprise there. Everyone knows Ben Starr at this point. He is probably the biggest name in voice acting or acting in the gaming industry at this point. He's in absolutely everything. Everything we cover on this channel, he seems to be in. Even a Kickstarter RPG that I covered the other day, he was in. If I turn on Netflix, he's on it. Like, he's just so big. And one of the things that I really love about Ben Starr, too, is not only does he do a phenomenal job, but when you talk to him, he's such a humble guy. Like, he literally hasn't let all this go to his head. He's so humble and so approachable, and I hope he always remains that way, because honestly, it's just so much fun having a conversation with him, and honestly, getting to do an interview with him for Expedition 33 was one of the highlights of my career, so I hopefully get to do that again at some point, maybe for this game. In addition to Ben Starr, we have Amelia Tyler joining the cast. You may remember her as the narrator in Baldur's Gate 3. She has such an iconic voice, one of the best voices in gaming. She is playing the villain, as far as I can tell, in this game itself, so that'll be really interesting. Typically, she's been on the good side of things, so it'll be interesting to see her in a different kind of position than she is historically. And another really big name being added to the voice cast is, of course, Deborah Wild. She's absolutely fantastic. She was Clea in Expedition 33, if you remember her there, or if you don't for some reason and you live under a rock, she was also Lysel in Baldur's Gate 3, my personal favorite companion in that story. So it's really exciting to see her in this game, too. And it's really interesting, you're starting to see a lot of these names more and more titles. They're starting to be part of the marketing materials, and especially you're starting to see a lot of them together in productions. They seem to like team up and do these titles a lot, or maybe it's just that they're so good they end up on the same projects together. But I've been covering gaming for the better part of a decade, maybe over a decade now. And this is the first time in my recent memory where you don't have like one isolated voice actor like a Nolan North or something like that. And you're really starting to see like more and more of these voice actors become famous, become part of the marketing campaign for these games, because they're so good you just recognize their voices instantly when you hear them. Like when I heard the Night Rain trailer for the first time and I heard Ben Starr's voice, I knew it was Ben Starr immediately. I didn't have to go look it up and see if he was in the game. I could just tell. And that's what's happening with these voice actors and actresses. And it's going to be really interesting to see moving forward how that plays out in the gaming space. So the future for Solasta 2 is very, very bright indeed. And again, the game goes into early access on March 12th, which is about 3 months away, which is not long at all. And there is a demo on Steam that you can go check out and play. It's been out for a little bit. It doesn't feature the same voice cast. It has other voice actors that are currently in the game, so you won't hear Ben Starr, Amelia Tyler, and Deborah Wild in it. But you can get a sense of the other things of the game from it so far. And this is a game that I hope to highlight more on this channel moving forward, particularly as we get closer to early access of the game, because I would love to get a hands-on with more of the game than we can now, especially with that voice cast in the game. But this is a game that I think, honestly, is going to be much larger than people realize when it launches. It's not Baldur's Gate 3 levels. It doesn't have the hype of 20 years behind it. It doesn't have that. But what it does have is a lot of passion behind the project. It has solid gameplay mechanics. It's improved its visual fidelity with Unreal Engine 5, and now it's improved its audio quality of the game with some of the best voice actors in the industry. So I think it's one you definitely want to keep a lookout for. If you played Solasta 1 and you were hoping for more improvements in the areas I mentioned in this video, you're definitely going to get that. Or if you've just been kind of waiting for something else to play and you were unsure about Solasta because it looked a little bit indie, you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on this one. So definitely bookmark it, and we'll see how it goes. So what do you guys make of this news for Solasta 2? Did you guys love Solasta 1? Were you guys big fans of that one? Did it feel as much like D&D as I think it does? Do you think it felt more like D&D than Baldur's Gate 3, or is that a wild statement to make? Are you excited about Ben Starr, Amelia Tyler, and Deborah Wild being added to the game? Let me know in the comments below.